This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So we were discussing about introduction of Excel release. So X for Xavier, Alpha Labs, and release. So one of their product, Xavier Labs product, to managing the release. So for that we have a Excel release. Again, as I said, a release represents a number of activities in certain time period with people working on them. When you have a release, then it comes to release management. So you have to manage a multiple release actually. So release management is the process of managing, planning, scheduling, and controlling a software built through different stages and environment. Here you have to understand these are the keywords which you have to take it from here. One is like a release, second one is like managing, third one is planning, fourth one is scheduling, fifth one is controlling, sixth is stages, seventh is environment, and seventh is environment, eighth you can take it up testing, ninth you can take it up a deployment, and so on. So all these keywords which we have to get comfortable with it, and same product, same software you'll get at Excel release. You can process of managing the release, you can get at Excel release, you can plan for your release, you can get at Excel release, you can schedule your release through the UI, that you can get it at Excel control, that someone should release, someone should not, and gate and all stuff like that. So you can control over there. And stages we have, environment we have, and stuff like that. So that's called release management. So typically, if you look at this release management process, which we have plan, release, then build, acceptance testings and stuff like that, then prepare, release, deploy, and that's the moment you deploy. After that, you have to monitor that release. That's a SRE work or operations work. So more or less, we started doing this is the release management process. This is the release management cycle which we are comfortable more or less if you are working in any software organization. So we have a planning, we have a scheduling, we have a controlling, we have a testing, we have a deployment and managing. There are different kinds of release cycles which we have. Depends on the organizations. You may not have all the organizations following the same sort of terminologies, but typically sometimes we do alpha release, sometimes then we do the beta release, sometimes we do the progressive rollout, and then sometimes we do the general availability. Depends on that. So let's say your product is still under the development and you want to have a little bit of market response of from the end user perspective. So you can do the alpha release to the limited users, to the limited people, limited client, and stuff like that. Beta with little bit more functionality, stability. Progressive rollout means you want to do the release, but not to entire community, entire end clients. You want to do first, you phase wise you want to do the release. General availability means available for everyone. So some of the characteristics which we have for the different kind of release cycles. In alpha we have a unity testing and qualitative testing. In beta, limited opt-in, qualitative testing, quantitative testing, feedback loops and all, bugs and all. Progressive, you graduated role, qualitative testing, quantitative testing, feedback loops and stuff like that, and general availability for everything. So this is something which you have a release cycle. Again, I must tell you, different organizations, they do follow different things also. And this is a CMD, CMDV. So if you are a large organization, you must be a part of this change management team actually. So from every department, there will be one person who will be joining this CAM meeting. Okay, this is called CAM meeting actually, and they'll be sharing that what are the changes you are going to roll out, how it will impact the one works to another works, and so on. So we all will be in sync with it. So this will be basically managed by some release manager or coordinators and all, and everyone is is a part of it, and they share their feedback. And also any activities which you're trying to do in your environment, it can be dev, it can be QA and stuff like that. There's approval happens, and there's a denying also happens based on that. So this is the kind of CMDV where entire change for the enterprise product which you are managing through that. Most of the time I've seen like small startup, small product, microservices based product, which is from the new technology. They are not having CAM meetings and all, but most of the enterprises like banking, telecom and all, you will see this meeting very often.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so these are the managers, these are the roles which we have in the release activities. So we have a one role which we call it a release manager.
Right.
Okay, so the role which is of the release manager to plan release lifecycle, manage risk, measure and monitor progresses and stuff like that,
Right.
and skill set and salary that's out of scope.
Mm-hmm.
So now the question is, what are the software which you can use for the release, for managing the release? So there's one software which you are trying to learn, which is Accel Release. Now this Accel Release has been branded recently using through the digital .ai actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let me tell you, Xavier is having multiple product actually. Accel Release is one of them. Another product what they have is Accel Deploy, which is more popular than Accel Release in fact. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so Accel Deploy, you can deploy the application through UI. So do you know Chef, correct?
Chef, I have heard of it. I've not worked on it, but
Yeah,
yep.
Chef, Ansible,
Mm-hmm.
Ansible Puppet.
Ansible Puppet. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so something like that. We have a product which is called an Accel Deploy. That
Mm-hmm.
is based on the UI. You can
Mm-hmm.
deploy to different environment through UI. So that's one product which is very popular from the Xavier Labs, but Accel is one of the product. So nowadays, if you look at this, though that this product name is very popular, but now it's renamed to digital.ai. Okay.
Okay.
And as part of digital.ai, they are offering multiple services for
Okay.
the release, deployment, security analysis, and many other stuff they're following up.
Mm-hmm.
So please remember that. So maybe now if you search for Excel release, that's okay. But digital AI also is okay.
Okay.
Competition with, they have a product which is called Urban Code Release,
Mm-hmm.
which was acquired by IBM. And we have Urban Core Velocity also acquired by IBM. And Atlassian also have one of the product which is Atlassian Jira. So these are the
Okay.
product which we have for the release management. So now
Okay.
coming back to the Excel release. Now this tool is basically you can use after the Excel deploy if you
Mm-hmm.
are using it. Most of the enterprises, if they're using it, they'll use the deploy and release in a conjunction actually. That
Okay.
means they will buy both actually. I'm not sure about your setup, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are not using the deploy, then release independently. You may use it, depends on, but you have to have a great integrations with the deployment tool. For example, some of the deployment tool I must tell you, which is like a Chef, Puppet, Ansible,
Okay.
Salt, udeploy, Excel deploy, and many other products which we have for the deployment like Terraform and all. So you have to integrate with Excel release with the deployment. So that
Okay.
will be, it will be used as a integration. Without that, it'll be a little bit isolated actually. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, Excel release is an end-to-end pipeline orchestration tool for continuous delivery and DevOps team,
Mm-hmm.
and it handles automated tasks, manual tasks, and complex dependencies and release trains.
Okay.
An Excel release is designed to integrate with your change and release management tool. So
Mm-hmm.
I will put it in a simple way here. Let's say release management earlier, if you are doing, let's say you have a major release, minor release, patches, service packs, different kind of release, different kind of phases, different types of environment.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one more thing. Sometimes if you are doing a one release for different client or different release for different client, so this kind of mapping is not an easy task. Sometimes it's become a very complex situation. So like let's say one of the product I must tell you here is like we were developing one of the product of LSD server from Symantec. And you won't trust, like, this product was used for more than 100 customers, but not one particular version for all customers. So some of the customers were having the product release of older than 5-6 years. Some of them are new, some of them are 2 years old, so like that. So it's very difficult to manage, and you have to release so many times for different customer also. It's
Right.
not like only Facebook, they will do once release for everyone. It's not like that. So
Right.
different product, different release, different version, different environment, different version of release. So all these challenges will come. So this tool
Right.
basically will help you in a UI way to control that process of release.
Right.
Okay, so
Right.
that's what we are using this Excel release and end-to-end pipeline orchestration tool. It handle automated tasks, manual tasks, and complex dependencies and release trains. An Excel release is designed to integrate with your change and release management tools. So here, change and release management tools means, so change tools means whenever you see change tools means, please immediately focus on the something like Chef, Puppet, Ansible. You
Right.
deploy Excel deploy and all. And release management tools means sometime you will use some other tools like Jenkins
Right.
or some other tools
Bamboo.
like
Like bamboo.
Bamboo. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Makes
We
sense.
have TeamCity also. So CI tools and all, it's being used. So you can integrate all this tool and put it up together. It'll be easy for you. Now, after that, this tool, we need to, if you want to use these tools, you need to be comfortable with some of the terminology used in this tool. So I think most of these terms which we are going to use right now, you will be familiar. For example, what is releases? So
Right.
releases are the at the heart of Excel release. Release allow you to plan, track, execute releases automatically. It
Okay.
acts as a single source of truth for everyone who's involved in making the release of the release a success. In
Okay.
simple way, if I say release is a kind of, I will put it in a simple way. Release is a kind of button
Mm-hmm.
and kind of interface on your tool, and if you click on that button, that means there's some particular release you are going to get in certain environment.
Okay.
So it's something like that. It's like you can say it's like a powerful interface, which you have to configure it, of course. But yeah, it's like that. So in Excel release, that's a release terminology.
Right.
Phases is something like, see, you have different phases for the software development lifecycle. Something like you have a dev phase, plan phase, development phase, then testing phase. Then after testing, maybe you may be having pre-production phase. Many again, different teams, different projects, different organizations, they use as per their convenience. Sometimes we have an integration phase, and then pre-production and then production phase. So this phase and stage don't differentiate. Both are same. I repeat, in a pipeline or software development life cycle, these phases and stages are same. Sometimes we call it a phase, sometimes we call it a stage. Okay, so phases, when we see the releases, you will see that has been designed into multiple phases. So phases is nothing but a release is divided into phases, which represent logical stages in the process that must happen in a succession. For example, a release could include development, QA, deployment phases, and stuff like that. Okay, so this depends on you. What are the phases you have it? This can be customized very much, but some of the popular one, as you know that. In
Right.
Excel release, a phase is a grouping of tasks, which are the activities that must be done to fulfill the release. So that is a phases. Now tasks. I think I'll put it in a simple way. Tasks in nothing but, let's say, for development, what are the tasks you do? For the QA, what are the tasks you do? For the deployment to the some environment, what are the tasks you do? So for development, probably you are in a development phase, probably you are doing scanning. or probably you are marking some doing build, or maybe you are doing what? You are doing UT, unity testings, right? So something like that. Let me put it up in this way, because if I write it, I get it, or else it's very difficult sometimes for me also. So any SDLC cycle, these are the things, simple thing you do: plan, and then code. After that code, what you do? You do the analysis. Scan, I will just call it. After scanning, what you do? Build. And after that build, what you do?
Deploy. Unit.
Not deploy, unit testing.
Unit test. Yep.
After that, we do the packaging, and then we archive the packages. After the archiving, what we do? Deploy to QA.
Yep.
Okay. And then after that, we perform all this acceptance testing. After that acceptance testing, we do that, right? Sorry, yeah. And what we do? Acceptance testing. After that, code coverage we do, correct? And then after that, if everything is done, it's released. Let me say, put it up in a separate manner.
So code coverage happens after unit test, right?
See, code coverage actually happen after all form of testing. I repeat, all form of testing. But you can do at UT level also, AT level also. But
yeah,
the
but
reports of
ATs can be manual testing too, right? ATs can be considered as manual
no,
testing.
AT means acceptance testing, which can be any form of testing. But when we are talking about automation, it is automated testing. Manual testing, we usually do not discuss as part of DevOps initiative, because that way you can't automate the things.
Yeah, makes sense.
But
Continue. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, continue.
Yeah. So plan, code, scan, build, UT,
So these
package,
are all
archive,
considered.
deploy.
So all these are considered as tasks, right?
No. These are the called phases.
Stages.
Okay.
Okay. Phases.
Yeah. You can say stages also. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, stages of what? SDLC cycle. SDLC cycle. Now, I was doing something. Yeah. So here, the thing is, if all passes, okay. If all passes, all phases passed, okay, all passed, then we call it release. It can be minor release, major release, or whatever it is. Now, or beta release, alpha release, the one which we had discussed, or progressive release and all stuff like that, is up to you. If one failed, okay, then we do repeat. Okay. Now you must be wondering, so where do we get this, all this integration done? So before that, let's use one of the tools for the discussion sake. So planning, typically we use Jira. Coding, we use, let's say, GitHub and all. Correct now? We write a code and then we version using Git. Scanning we do through SonarQube.
Yep.
Build, maybe if you are having Java, Maven, Gradle, a lot of tools are there.
Maven,
I'm using only one tool out of it. Each stages, we have a 10 different tools. So there is one URL if you want to check it out. This is not up to date, but this URL you should check in future reference. Here, let's say Java. This is a pre-production and then production, and other technologies also we have. So just check this out. So for everything we have a tools. Here JUnit, packaging maybe var and all, exe and all. Archiving maybe Artifactory or Nexus or something like that. Deploy to QA, so many tools I have been discussing. Ansible, maybe acceptance testing, Selenium, and all stuff like that. Or maybe Jacoco is a code coverage. So now here I just discussed one of the tools.
One of them. So it will differ with other. Yeah, makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, project to project, right?
Yep.
So now, do we have any tools which can integrate all these tools, which can integrate all the teams, pages, and tools? That's where the CI tools is like one of the popular tool I'm making, Jenkins.
Right?
Right? Yeah. So now you must be wondering, where is this tool called Accel Release? So Accel Release is a planning tool. So here, what we'll do? Accel release will be at everywhere. So here, this let's say, so Accel release, you can trigger the scan of this job. Accel release, you can do the build, you
Build, right?
can do unit testing, you can do
So
artifactory, you can
even
call
though
the deployment.
Excel release is like a leader or a monitor who will be triggering, like still the build will be done by Maven, maybe through Jenkins, right? We
Of
never
course,
that will still be done. So we
yeah.
integrate Jenkins or Bamboo or any tool with Excel release, so we kind of monitor it from the high level, correct?
Dashboarding. So here,
Yep.
remember that Excel release is not for managing one release. If it is a one release, then easily you can go ahead with
Right, right,
Jenkins.
right, right.
Excel release is for the enterprise solution for managing large set of release.
Got it, got
If
it.
it is one project, then it's a waste of efforts actually.
Yep, yep,
So
yep.
let's say
Makes
you,
sense.
yeah, if you have a, let's say, that's what I said initially. If you have a too many clients, too many releases in a day, too many version of the release, too many products to do that, too many
Mhm.
permissions to make it a placement, too many
Yep,
environments to do the release, then
right.
this tool will make sense. Otherwise, it's just a waste of energy.
Okay, makes
Right?
sense. Yep, yep.
So yeah, these are the Excel release will do the monitoring. I mean, it will do executions and stuff like that and do that stuff. Now coming back to the questions which I was having, and that is what is called tasks. So task is nothing but here task is nothing but whatever we do for the sonar cube scanning. Let's say whatever we do for scanning, we download the code, we set this variable, install this, then we scan. All these are one task, two tasks, three tasks, four tasks, five tasks. For the
Okay,
build, let's say you download the source code, download the dependency, then set the environment, do this. So all these are a task actually.
okay,
Okay. So
okay.
same way for the release also, you have a multiple tasks and all. So tasks are activities in a release. In Excel release, everything that must be defined, must be done is defined as a task. In a simple way,
Mhm,
if you want to do anything in the release, you
mhm.
have to get it done through the tasks. That's all.
Okay, okay.
Except so your primary learning, you will make it with a task, how to configure the tasks. Like that's the primary learning. Because if you are not defining the task, you cannot do the release. And
Right.
if you are not doing the release, there is no use of Excel release. So they are manual tasks in which human must do something, and automated tasks that the Excel release flow engine perform unattended. So that is the tasks. I'll show you this in the demos time. Then next one we have a release flow. What is a release flow? So release flow means, see, you when you create a release, then you trigger the release. Okay, and in that release, all the release executed, all the tasks, all the phases which execute, this is called release flow. So this is the workflow of the release.
Mhm.
Excel release determines the current tasks that need to be picked up and executed, and it is an automated task or send a message to the person responsible for it if it is
So
a manual task.
let's say right, like okay, you kick off the release using Excel release. So my question
Yeah,
over here is so let's say that okay, like one of the tasks, like see for example, right, in the diagram that you showed, you want to do code
yeah.
scan or anything of that sort. So let's say that you want to do code scan specifically. Is it always that people in company do it through Excel release, kick off the code scan, or directly you can go to the code scan and do it from Sonar Cube itself?
No, actually, when you say Excel release, then let's talk about the release only,
Yeah, yeah,
not
that's what I'm
only.
asking. Only through release,
Huh,
Excel release only they will do it, right? Like if you want to do the
huh,
code scan, that's what I'm asking.
huh, huh.
Okay,
But one more thing. Let's say if you don't want to do the release, then go ahead and set up
okay.
trigger the
Use that.
Jenkins, Sonar
Makes sense.
queue and
Okay,
stuff like
okay,
that.
okay, okay. So
So
will the release manager will be triggering these tasks, or the respective teams will be doing?
no, what happens? This understand this way. Uh, Release managers will not do that. So release managers only do the sanity for this releases. Sanity means whether the expectations which we wanted to have, that is configured properly or not. So development team will still use the CI tool. I said development team. Okay. So they will bother about the CI, but also release managers, CEO, CTO, and all this thing. They want to have a control over the releases into the client environment or maybe production. Getting my points? And
Right.
that place they wants to have a release final control over that. So if they trigger this, they want to make sure that all these things should be in place. So for the testing purpose, they will do the release in the test environment before
Got
going into production or maybe pre-production.
got
So
it.
those environments can be created, and you can run from the Excel release and see everything is happening or not. For example, I'll put it in this way: 100, there's a one functionality has to be developed. So that functionality has to be developed, scan, build, UT, pack, archive. Everything will be done by Jenkins, and development team will keep using it.
Right.
Then the moment that development say, hey, we have completed that code and now you can do the release. So now release manager will configure this new job means new, you can say new release, and configure all this thing whatever he wanted. If you want only this one, then he can go for that. But if you want everything to be done, let's say new build should happen, new UT should happen, packaging and all these things. So depends on his wish. He will create through Excel release and do that release in the, let's say, first test environment, then pre-production integration, and then production, and then sanity will happen on those stuff. So basically, I'll put it in a simple way. Using Excel release, you will do nothing but calling those internal UI of Jenkins, Bamboo, or TeamCity only. Got it?
So, okay, I have another question over here. So, you see, right now you have split the tasks, right? Like scan, build, UD. In Excel release, will in general, I'm asking, will all these tasks will be considered as all these phases will be considered as one phase called deployment? Because in big companies, right, we have deployment and then testing, then manual steps, those kind of stuff, right? So, do you
Yeah.
think that they will still split it up and show it like this, or put everything together, something called deploy, that's the face is called
Um,
deploy? How do they do that?
See, no, they will call it a release. In Excel release, they'll call it release. A release means that's the final delivery.
Okay.
Release, it can be done for internal teams also, external teams also. So whatever I'm saying, no, this all this thing, this is the process for SDLC. I said process for SDLC. You may not need everything in Excel release. Depends on your release manager. He say, I just want to take the package from Artifactory and use the Excel deploy and put it in some not environment of testing, but directly in the production
Right.
and or pre-production. So he can design his own phases that I'll teach you in some time.
So
But
when
the one which I'm discussing is just a general one.
okay, so so Excel release, right, is it specific to only production deployment, or all throughout, even all environments test
I
and
think this will be waste of our energy if you're using Accelerate in the pre-production, because most of the time it's used for the for the production or pre-production. These are the two things where I see that. Because as I said, right, Excel release use cases only I see if you are an enterprise, if you have a product, same product, multiple version has to be released to the different client in a different environment,
Mhm.
then you need some management tool. Others we don't need.
Okay, okay. So let's say in my company, right, we have a stand, we use Salesforce, by the way. We have Salesforce
Okay.
deployment, and we have manual
Mhm.
steps, right? We what is our plan is, we deploy the code to test environment, and we test it out, and then we deploy the code to load, and we test it out, and then we deploy to prod, right?
Mhm.
So what we do is, as a release manager, he only collects and documents what is being done in production environment. He doesn't care what's happening in test and load.
Mhm.
So we only capture all the steps which is happening in prod, and we do
Mhm.
it. So now when we use Excel release, do you think that we still need to do that way, like doing only in prod, or even test and load?
See, theoretically and technically, you can use both the places.
Okay, but it's is it the industry standard to use it? I'm saying like, or they only do it for prod because test and
Okay,
load.
I'll put it in this way. Okay, let's say you and me are staying together. Okay, and
Mm-hmm,
we are working in the same office. That means our goal is same. Okay,
mm-hmm,
now it's up to us, both of us, to decide whether we want to go to office using one cab or a two different cab. Okay,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
simple thing. That's what I said. It's a conditional question. You decide, no, let's go with a one cab.
mm-hmm.
Then we'll use one cab means one tool, which maybe use some tools like a Jenkins or something like that, which is very popular. Now you say, no. I'll say, no, I want to go to my own cab. You go to my own cab. So probably you will go for some tools like Jenkins, and I will opt for Excel release. All I'm saying is Excel release is creating a visibility for top management. I repeat, for visibility for the top management and approval process. If you look
Okay.
at this here, this statements, again, I will ask you to read that. This Excel release is not doing nothing but, see here, is creating a pipeline. This is what is a pipeline? Pipeline means this is the pipeline.
Right, right, right,
Let
right.
me- So this is the creating a pipeline. And here you can do everything.
Right,
CI to CD. CI CD means CI means this is the one, and delivery means release means CD. Okay.
right.
That's the process of CD. And what? Automated task, manual task, dependencies management, release trains, and stuff like that. And integrate with all your change and release management tools. What release management tool and change management tool? SonarQube, Maven, UT. So this integrate with it. So it's up to you. You design your flow as per your project. Excel release is saying, hey, why don't you do everything from Excel release? Why they are saying Excel release is saying you can do everything? Because they want to promote their product as a DevOps solution. Okay, but the question is, you are the engineer. Do you like that for that to work? Are you getting it?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because nowadays, if you see that any products in the DevOps industry, they will say, hey, use everything for my tool. I mean, use everything, whatever this you are doing, use everything for my tool only. For example, AWS will say use AWS DevOps. Azure is saying Azure DevOps. JVI is saying use my tool. Some other companies are also saying the same thing. GitHub is also saying same thing. GitLab. Now you have to decide what for what task you are using what
Okay.
one, right?
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, you can continue.
Okay, so here this is the release flow. So when you click on the release, whatever the steps it runs, we call it a release flow. Release
Mm.
owner, I think by name itself we got to know. Each release has a release owner, the person that is responsible for correct performance of the release. That means, let's say release owner means he'll be the responsible person for it. He may click approve or something like that if it is enabled. So if something goes wrong, the release owner will be notified. And for example, if an automated task produces an error, or one of the people working on the task indicates that he's in trouble. Templates, this is the most important thing after the tasks actually. So
Mm-hmm.
templates is nothing but you combine everything. Template means combine everything. You you have all the phases. Okay, in the template you have a phases, you have a tasks, you have a release, you have a release flow, owner,
Mm-hmm.
teams, everything is combined in the templates. So
Mm-hmm.
template is basically a blueprint for the release. You can use template to start different release that have a same flow. Template is very similar to release. However, some functionality is different because template is never executed directly.
Okay.
Okay, release executed directly. For example, there are no start or end dates in a template, but release have a start and end. Most tasks are assigned to a team rather than actual people,
Mm-hmm.
and variable are used as a placeholder for information that differs from the release to release, such as an application version number and stuff like that. And the
Mm-hmm.
last one which we have is team. each release or release template define a set of team. So team you can define for the release also, and the team you can define for the template also. So define a
Okay.
set of teams. Team is a logical grouping of people who perform a certain roles. For
Okay.
example, on a release you can define a deployment team, QA team, ops team, and release management team. So these are the stuff. So more than that, you don't need to know. So let's get started. So first
Okay.
thing, what I'm going to do, I'm going to how to install Accel release. Okay. So before getting into that, let's go to the Google,
By the
type
way, it's a cloud
Accel.
application, right?
No, you don't have to use as a cloud. You can also use as a
On-prem. Okay,
what
okay,
is
okay.
it?
I remember.
On-prem.
Yeah, yeah, right. Got it, got it. Okay, yeah, we also use it as on-prem only.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
So here, so just type Accel release. The moment you say Accel release, you have a JVL apps, okay? And then some of the legacy docs of Accel release are here. And you see all the documents which you see is of JBL apps, right?
Right.
Now you go to this domain, xavierlabs.com, and then it should transfer you to digital.ai. Okay. So document in the Google still available at these URLs, which you can see on my screen. Okay. But this is the digital.ai, which is a now rebranded themselves as a product. Now they have a product for agility. They have a product for release, the one which we are learning. They have a product for testing also. They have a product for security also. And they have a product for deployment. And they have a
Right.
product for intelligence also and team force. Deploy, then when you say it's Accel deploy only. And release, when you say Accel release.
Right.
Accel Agile is one of the projects to manage the practices of Agile, like the Scrum, Kanban, and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Team Forge is one of the product for this Git solutions and stuff like that, and integrating with the multiple.
Okay.
So we are learning this part, release. Okay, so you should get comfortable with it. And see, automate and orchestrate software releases across complex technology environment and all this stuff like that.
Okay.
So this is a new website. You can go ahead with it. Now the documents here, installations and all, you can go for, you can read the requirements if you really want to install and all. So
Yeah, I think
this is
we should be fine with it because they already installed in our on-prem server. They gave us the
yeah,
requirements and all that stuff. So we got the respective server requirement, like minimum hardware requirements also, and we did that. So that should all be done.
yeah. So you have all this here. This is a developed in Java. So you
Right.
need a Java. So the moment we say Java, that means this product you can install in any platform,
Right.
Windows, Linux, and Mac.
Mac. Yep.
Yeah. So for installation, you can download the stuff, but I'm not going to do that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
that
makes
will
sense.
take a lot of time and all.
Yeah, yeah.
But,
No.
but you should know little bit of their architecture. Okay.
Okay.
So this is important. So remember that Java is runtime. So if you have some issues with the Accel release, and if you're hosting it and you want to troubleshoot, then you should know a little bit of Java troubleshooting skills.
Okay.
Okay. And then on top of that, backend, it can be in many RDBMS. So multiple backend is supported. So here, backend is, it can be PostgreSQL, MySQL, Oracle, MS SQL Server, which is from Microsoft, and
Okay.
DB. Okay.
Okay.
So I would suggest, if you are using, if you're suggesting, then you may suggest PostgreSQL and stuff like that. And this is a, if I have a good memory, it is a H2 or Derby. So embedded one. Embedded one is a free one. Okay.
Okay.
So default, it may come with that. So these you should know. Let's say if you are a backend is PostgreSQL, you should know a little bit of this, how to take a
Got it.
backup of PostgreSQL database, how to add
Makes
user and blah blah
Yep. Yep.
things like
Okay.
that.
Makes sense. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So now we'll go ahead and I will make it one of the setup running. with Docker. Okay, so let's go and get it. So Accel release installation DevOps school. So this installation I'll not do through manual, but through Docker. So Docker, you are comfortable, right?
Yeah. I am familiar with it. Yep.
Yeah. So this I'm stopping it.
So you just host. I mean, that image contains all the necessary. So it's like a minimum version, minimum resource capability.
Yeah.
Okay.
So last version which I get on hub.docker.com, which was 22.2. Okay, so this is the image. Now this is the command which I'm running.
Like okay.
So I'll just copy this URL here and this URL. I must ask you to read the official document for detailing because it has a good amount of information. But yes, package is not available, unfortunately. I located the package nowhere. So that means their website is still under the development. Okay, so now this is the command to run it. So this is Docker run, but what? So this image and this is a version of it. Now they're passing some E for passing a parameter, E for environment in the container. So they're passing that admin password. It should be, let's say, DevOps school. Okay. Now -E, you're passing this agreement or like, are you agree with that, this, that, and all stuff.
And yes,
if
makes sense.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
Yeah. So if you don't do that, then it will stuck. Now this is my node port.
Yeah,
and this is the Accel release port.
Got
Now
it.
name of container Accel release, I'll make it. And this is one more code I'm adding to it, and that is -D because I don't want to lose my control.
Yeah. So
no,
it runs in the backend, right? It runs in the detached mode. Yeah, makes sense. So in this, in this one, right, we'll have its own embedded database, so we don't have to do the specific.
Nothing. You don't have to. It's a trial version. You'll get it. I think for 1 week they are giving trial version. Okay. So now here I am running this container. I will go and check these logs and see that if successfully loaded or not. So -F, and it will keep updating the log, and I'll see that there should not be any error as such. So this VM I created for your requirement only, just before this session.
Okay.
So you can create your one VM and work on it.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. I do have already an Accel release instance, so I should think that should be fine.
Yeah. So it says unregistered. Of course, it's unregistered one. Yeah. So now you see that you should see this as a message while starting it.
Right.
Okay. So everything is done, started. Now I should go and access it. So my IP address.
Your local host.
Okay. So my IP address is 192.160. Just a second. 9. Okay. 9 1.9 and colon the port number, the one which I'm having.
Yeah, 5516. Yeah.
16. Now default username, always remember, default username is always admin. Okay. And the password which I kept it here,
it's
which is the
DevOps.
DevOps.
Yep.
Yeah. So here it's loading. You see that loading digital.ai because it's rebranding themselves. And here we have AD admin and then DevOps. Here it is. So this is your Accel release. And I think my the license is for only 1 week, which I got it. And this is the UI part we need to learn.
So this is a non-requiring license, right? So when you say license for 1 week, I didn't get that part.
So whenever I think it's embedded in the image itself, Whenever you do not provide the license, automatically it will get into the trial period, and they enable it for 1 week, I guess. But if you
Okay.
are having license, you can pass it something like this.
The
So
license.
here
Okay.
you can license string.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you don't pass it, then it probably is 1 week.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay.
So this is the stuff. So now what to do? Nothing great here. First thing, I will create a problem for you. So let's say there's one problem, there's one organization name. Organization name is, understand the problem here. Org name is Infosys. We all understand. Are you from India?
Yeah, I'm from India.
Yeah, so I think you must be knowing Infosys,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, right.
And Infosys, we have thousands of clients. Sorry, more than 10,000. But for the discussion sake, I'm using
Right, right,
100.
right.
100 clients, they have it. Now,
Right.
understand this. Each client, understand, just a second. I'm creating a hypothesis scenarios. Okay. So one client, you have a 3 environment. Correct now? Correct. And one release manager. I'm
Okay.
saying release manager, not owner. Owner is different, managers are different. Okay. Now these three environment, I'm hypothetical scenarios I'm creating. Dev environment, QA environment, and production environment. Are you understanding?
Correct.
Yeah. So for dev environment, understand that you should be having dev server, okay, and dev server. And for QA environment, you should have a QA server, not servers actually. S, multiple servers. And then production environment, you should have a prod servers. Correct now? Now you should be having release name also, correct?
Correct.
Release name. You should be having release version also, correct? Release version, it can be major also, minor also, and patches. I'm not complicating too much. This all. So when you come to Accel release, these are the things you should be ready. You should be having some packages also, package repository. When I say package repository means this is the one. Artifactories are repository in this discussion. It can be Nexus also. It can be GitLab also. It can be shared drive also. It can be some HTTP URLs also. Are you getting my points?
Yep.
Package repository. You have a release name. You have a release version. You have a release manager somewhere here. You have a release team. You should be having team. So here you have a 3 team, a dev team, QA team, and ops team. Okay. So all these things, which is a characteristics which we wanted. So this is for one client. So something similar you may have for 100 clients, correct now?
Correct.
So how do you manage through the Accel release? And that's the tools which is all about. Accel release is the enterprise release management tool. I repeat, enterprise release management tool. It will help Infosys, but if you're having only one client, that it might not be helpful. You can go ahead and use another tools like free one. Okay, so what to do now? So first step number 1, I'm writing it here. So first thing, in this hypothesis scenario we have, so I should do one thing. Step number 1, create a folder for client. Okay. Create a folder for client. Now folder you understand very well, right? So folder. So what is the client name? So let's say client name is Kotokas. One of the product-based company, Kotokas is one of the client of Infosys. So I'm going to create first thing on Accel release. It's creating, and you can see my screen, add folder and create it. That's all. So this is the first activities I'll do. Now, you know what? I will not complicate too much about permissions, this, that, and all. So I'll keep it aside, this one. That means one folder, it should be accessible to the one release manager, and then all the team members should be having access and all. That means what I'm talking about is authentication and authorizations. I will not talk about right now. I'll talk about the end of this session. Okay, so let's use the session, use the functionality and then talk about it. I'll go inside this. Now,
Okay.
inside the folder, this the client, which is my Kotocus. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Kotocus, inside the folder, you will have Kotocus template.
Mm-hmm.
Template, the one which I discussed, I'll create a template. You may have a releases also. Remember, there's a differences between template and releases.
Right.
Then we have a patterns also. So here, what I'm saying here, let me write few of them. Patterns, deliveries, dashboard, trigger, means scheduling, some variables, groups, permission, the teams, and which I said, no, here teams and all stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
notification means email or chat or something. Version control and connections. Connections means for this particular client, which is Photocus, I'll put it in simple way. Connections is important. So what is the Jenkins server? What is the
Right.
Artifactory server? What is the Ansible server? What is the Selenium server? What are the build servers? What is the SonarQube server? So that connections you can create it in for that. So what I'm trying to say here, like that, you'll create a one folder for each client.
Okay.
Are you understand?
Makes sense. Makes sense. Yep.
Yeah. So now after that creating a clients, then you will start talking about creating templates,
Templates.
release patterns, deliveries, and all stuff like that. So
Okay.
whatever I'll do for the Kotakas, you also have to do for everything. And this
Okay.
all also we need to be comfortable with.
Okay.
Are you
Makes sense.
understanding now?
Yep. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. It's pretty clear.
Yeah. So now we'll get into the creating the templates, release patterns in the next session, which is
Okay.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Sure.
And
Sure.
we'll continue this.
Yeah. This
Any
is
questions
perfect,
so
Raj.
far you have?
No. No. This is perfect. Until here, I kind of understood what you were saying. So, I mean, everything is clear until now. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, then see you
So
tomorrow.
can I quickly share my screen just quickly? I wanted to
Just a
show you.
second, let me stop the recording.